that you got that dim lighted ambiance going on in the living room.
Yeah, it's it's late. It's bedtime.
It's 8 o'clock. Hey Frank.
Uh, have you ever heard of eight sleep, like EIGHT sleep?
Yeah, the like cooling mat bed thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You know it?
it's like 3 grand,
Is it
4 grand.
that much money?
Mhm.
You gotta be kidding me. Really?
Yeah,
Shit. Um, well then we'll have to find maybe seven sleep is less money. I don't know.
six and a half sleep.
Yeah, because that's too much. Why is it 8 grand? That's stupid.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. Like you spend money on, you spend most of your time sleeping.
You do, but it's just cooling your bed. That's too
Yeah,
much.
but it's wonderful.
You have it? You've tried it or no?
I've slept on one.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. All
Good.
right.
So what's going on? Hey, we sold all the camp tickets in 24 hours.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that so when it went for sale, like I went on there to see like what's gonna happen and I don't know, I sort of just watched it for a bit. It was fun.
Yeah. No, I'm stoked that everybody did it. It should be a good time.
Yeah. E2 Embroidery's here. They were here at our summer camp.
She was sick.
Dawn and Joe, I know. I
I
know.
felt
Well, she
bad.
was fine at first, and then she got to Shirkong and she got sick. She started throwing up.
Is that you? She went to your station where you showed the shop, and she was like, "Oh,
Yeah. I think
throw up
I
all over the
just
place."
saw Cody. Cody, hey man. Um, I am going to, do you know this? I'm going to PT, personal training. No, that's the wrong word. Physical therapy. Same abbreviations, but different words.
Yeah,
I used to go to PT, but now I'm going to PT.
mhm.
It's different.
I heard he's kicking your ass.
Um, yeah, but I'm barely do anything. I just kind of, you
You
know,
just lay there.
yeah, surgery is scary and I never want to have it again. And so like now, I'm just taking it easy, taking her easy.
Good.
He put me on you kind of sit on this, weird, like, water bed bubble seat. And then you like, hula hoop around, you know?
This
Yeah.
is this is you're at the wrong place, bud.
It's
There's a
nine. It's
hole in the
like the
middle of the
nine
bed.
bed. Yeah, it's a little different than,
It's a milking station.
but I don't know. I'm trying.
How's the shop? What's going on this week? You good?
Yeah, like, let's see. So we got we got a couple of good orders in there, and we were like, oh, thank God, we're going to keep the presses spinning. And then we haven't even got to them yet. I thought we'd start them last week, and we didn't. So we still have them, which is great news. Yeah.
All right,
So
just jump right into it.
not all the presses.
Mhm.
We're spinning two. It's enough for now. Yeah.
Trying to read these.
You look very handsome tonight. You look like you got some rest, maybe even a little bit of sun.
No, I actually had a horrible night's sleep last night, but I trimmed my beard. That might be it.
Maybe that's what. How do you do that? What do you have
How do I do
like
it?
a setting, a guard,
Yeah,
special guard?
I just do the whole thing. I
Hmm.
sit there meticulously with scissors. Scott's in here. Hey, love you. It was your birthday.
Who?
King screen.
Oh, hey Scott, happy B day.
Hey,
Mhm.
not today, but you know, so close.
I
Uh,
feel like it was today. No? Okay.
Cody Walker said, "Hopefully they didn't tell you being naked made it better." Did they tell you to be naked for this PT?
Isn't that normal? That's what everyone
Right. Okay. Yeah.
said.
Yeah. You did it right. Uh,
Mhm.
so anyway, we were talking about doing these lives where we would basically go back through some shirt show guests and kind of see where they are now and catch up and see what's new and what's happening. So I'm gonna see if I can bring Amy in. Hey,
Hey, my friends.
hey, my friend.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on. What an honor.
I wouldn't quite say that.
I'm thrilled.
Hmm. So we had you on the show. It was a long time ago. You were like one of the early ones.
I think it was episode 8, if I remember, and it was during COVID.
Oh,
Pretty
really?
sure. I think so. Um, I think that because I did it from home, but I think it was shortly after we had gotten our auto because we had previously been an all manual shop, and we might have been in the throes of that, learning the rock the rock
Hmm.
U 1014 at that point.
Hmm. How did that go? What was your
We still got it.
how did your life change?
For the better. That I don't regret that decision. Um, it took a while to learn it, but we're still learning it, and I think being an all water-based print shop adds a challenge there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we in those been about 2 years since that point, and so we still have the one auto. We have embroidery. Um, we have grown steadily, and there's been challenges, but it's been kind of a rough winter, as everybody in the print world knows, for January, February, but I'm looking forward to March and April
Yeah.
getting back.
Has anything else at the shop changed other than just getting the auto in? Like, have you guys added anything other than that?
I, I think, do you guys know about the DTG that we added?
Well, that was me and you had talked, but that was kind of the reason why I wanted to talk to you is because I feel like your biggest change that I saw was that you added a new, like a retail location with the DTG, or did you have DTG in the shop before that?
Yeah, no. So it was a pretty um, fast process, but we did not have DTG, and last November, so just getting it open right in time for Black Friday, um, we opened a little 300 square foot retail space inside of kind of an upscale mall that's just down the street from our warehouse. And so we put the DTG machine in there, and it functions as like a print on demand kind of, like slightly more upscale than the old mall
Right.
versions. And we're,
Some
yeah,
dudes with some heat presses.
yeah. Um, our shop is pretty close into town anyway, and so this is nearby, which I think is nice, but it's been open since November, and I mean, I didn't quite know what to expect, and I'm still deciding on, if it's going to be successful or not, but I've been pretty pleasantly surprised. And I think one of the things that makes it work is that it is connected to the screen print shop. So you guys know, I mean, I get calls every week of somebody just wanting one or two t-shirts, and so we've always said no. But this is a way to have another revenue stream. It's never in replace of screen printing, because
Hmm.
they're just totally different functions. The DTG um, works well for small runs and lots of colors, and if somebody wants something different, then we start talking about screen printing. But being able to have, like, Threadbare already being established, and then just being able to direct people to this retail location is helpful,
Yeah.
and then vice versa too, because the retail locations in this kind of upscale mall with a couple of hotels, and so we get a lot of people walking by that then we get to talk to them about Threadbare screen
I
printing
want
too.
Amy,
to ask you something real quick in
oh,
this questions, unless you want to do it, Andy.
were you going to ask the same one?
What Jeff said?
Death pads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and ask her.
So yeah, he wants to know if you are pre-treating on demand or using pre-treated shirts.
Yes, that's a good question. So we started with pre-treating on demand and pretty quickly shifted. We I really like all made apparel, and I like working with that company. And so the model that I started was just going to use only all made t-shirts and offer them in 4 colors: black, navy, gray, and white, unisex and kids, and just not a lot of options, at least to start. But pre-treating the shirts was the biggest challenge. And so now we're using pre-treated shirts that Sanmar offers. I think it's Port and Company, maybe. I tried cheater teas as well because you can order anything from Alpha Broder, and they'll pre-treat them for you, and that works nice. But it took like 8 to 10 days to get those, and so our Sanmar in Vancouver has a pre-treated shirt that comes in 2 days. So we've been doing that.
What was your biggest challenge with pre-treating yourself? Was it just
Well, I
the
didn't buy a pre-treat
time, or
machine. No, because I didn't buy a pre-treat machine, and so we were spraying the pre-treat on with a spray bottle, so it's just inconsistent.
right?
And the pre-treated shirts, you just give them a little heat press to warm them up, and then they've been printing really well.
Well, I want to step back to what made you decide to do this? Like, what made you decide to do the store in general? Was it just like, oh shit, I want to try this? Or was it like you really saw a need for it?
Just being a crazy entrepreneur, just making choices. Um, Definitely in 13 years of owning a print shop, there's a need for it. I mean, I get the phone calls all the time. And so our town is, Eugene is like, it's not Vail or Austin, Texas, or a place that like people really want to, you know, uh, visit maybe. I mean, we get a lot of people visiting with the track meets and the U of O football games and stuff like that, but it's not like a tourist destination, I wouldn't say. And so I think that when I had this idea, I felt like if it could work in Eugene, it could work anywhere,
Right.
or not anywhere, but somewhere with a more like Bend, Oregon is nearby us, and they think they have like, a better audience for like just people coming through and wanting to get that shirt that says Bend, Oregon on it. And so I wanted to try it here, and I think it's worth exploring just because that added revenue stream. We get that phone call all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I maybe didn't anticipate was retail. So when we moved into our shop 2 years ago, we made a policy of seeing people by appointment because we don't have a front desk person, and having so many people just stop by and take up production stops and people talk. So I've really gotten spoiled by that, and I like that model. And so
And then when you went
now,
retail, it's nonstop, just randos coming in.
yeah, like super random people that want to talk and tell you their crazy life stories, and
Not buy anything.
sometimes just buy the weirdest t-shirts. There's just been some really cool stuff, like everybody wants their dog on the t-shirt, and then just like some super random stuff. And a lot of like right now we have two females working there, and they've had to ask people to leave, and all of this stuff is like, oh, I didn't anticipate this piece of the puzzle. Now I need to
Yeah.
figure out, yeah.
This plays in. I want to ask questions from people that are listening, watching. Uh, at that one shop says, are you designing on demand or using software like Deco Network or Inksoft to do it right there in
Yeah.
front of them?
Yeah. So the two people that are running it are both graphic designers. And that's maybe another thing I hadn't thought of in the beginning until we got going, was how important that piece of it was. So just being able to run Adobe Suite. So because we have people with those skills, they're designing most things in Illustrator or Photoshop, and then just dropping it into the software that talks to the Epson, the garment creator.
But are they doing it right there when the customer's in the store, or is it like come back tomorrow, come back in an hour? How does that work?
Yeah, well, we do a lot of like, can you come back in an hour? Because it's not fun to have people
Stand there and watch you?
Yeah, so it's a little of both. I did one, a guy came in and he wanted his Taekwondo instructor's face on the Cat in the Hat, and then say black belt, blue belt in the Dr. Seuss font, just that kind of thing. And so I was able to do that, and he was pretty easy, and we got it done. And then I said, okay, I'll print these 6 t-shirts that you want, but can you come back later? And people are usually fine with coming back. Like nobody's really expecting it. They're even surprised if we're like, yeah, usually it's like, can you give me 1 hour? And people are like, oh, I can come back tomorrow. Like people are just excited that it's even an option.
Have you
So
played
yeah,
into like the AI thing at all? Like have them
yeah,
right there, like type it in, see what comes up,
I
let them
haven't
do the revisions?
I haven't done that like right there while they're standing there because I actually don't know how to use AI that well, but we have an example of AI on our example wall so that people know that that's an option if they're into AI and have generated something.
Right. Hanson Screen Printing asks, do you have anything else in the store for sale, or is it just set up for print on demand?
What's up, Nate? Um, we want to add embroidery because I think if we got a small little embroidery in there, we'd be able to customize, people's hats and dog jackets and stuff like that. But right now, we don't have anything else because we're just getting it started. But I would like to add embroidery. We do have the pre-cut vinyl letters down there so that we can put last names on t-shirts.
Do you get a lot of call for that?
No, we haven't yet. But it's down there just because we already have it and it's an option and we have a heat press. So, and then we just have the shirt heat press right now because that's how you cure the DTG. You have to heat press it afterwards.
Right.
And so we uh, eventually, I would like to add a hat heat press as well so that you could customize trucker hats.
Mm-hmm.
But the part I don't know, so the Epson that we got is the F2270, and it is also a DTF. And we haven't played around with that yet, and I'm not even sure that we will because it seems messy and it's a small space and I think it's kind of toxic. And just ordering transfers is so much easier. So I'm not really sure how we're gonna approach that, like customizing hats, except for the embroidery.
Yeah, Jeff from Tiny Fish just chimed in and he said that the color reel embroidery would be great for you.
What's it called?
Color reel, it's where it's like the white thread and it dyes it the color it
Oh,
needs as it comes out. So there's no, it's not like you have
Have
all the
you
colors.
have you guys
I've never heard of that.
seen have you guys seen just stitching or embroidering only in white thread and then transferring
The
on top of it?
DTF on top.
Yeah,
I just saw that on Instagram.
me too.
That looks cool.
Uh, Pretty cool. Yeah, yeah, like it could go really fast. Like you could do this full color thing and with blends and everything. You know what I mean?
That stuff is cool. That customizing, like I have a hat that when we were in Santa Cruz, when my kids were little, and grandma went into the store and got a little kid hat for my 4-year-old and put his name
Mhm.
across it. And you don't get rid of that stuff. We still have it, and it's a nice gift and not too expensive. So I could see that. I could see the embroidery being a good addition.
But do you guys have any stuff that's like your brand or anything else selling in the store?
Yeah, I have it there in a box underneath the counter.
I don't think it's going to sell well there.
See, I'm new to retail. Thanks for the tip.
Hmm.
Um, One, the space is really small, and I don't haven't figured out quite how to display it. And then I guess I don't know. I've just given away threadbare t-shirts for so long that it seems a little odd to charge for them, and I don't know that anybody would want one. Um, but I I think down the line I will try it.
I just think if somebody's walking in, so you're just mostly showing examples of stuff that they can get, right?
Yeah, yeah, and we also partnered with local artists that make some kind of Eugene themed type designs, and so we have those displayed, and customers could pick one of those. Like one says Tracktown, um, and then we give a cut of that sale to the artists. So it's
I was going
kind
to
of
say,
it's retail, but on demand
do you have
because we print those on demand.
any like catalog of, I guess, basic designs that they could pick from already and just add text or add something to that, so it's not like you're starting from scratch every time somebody walks through the door?
Yeah, we did one for Valentine's Day where we had an airbrush kit. So there was several different templates to choose from, and you could drop in a photo of your Valentine. and get it airbrushed. And that was pretty good. We sold quite a few of those. And then on the iPad that has the point of sale, we've been adding photos so that just in the camera roll. So you could go to the camera roll and show a customer and like flip through, like, here's ideas other people have gotten printed.
Hmm. Uh,
But I think
uh,
like something like your brand, Dylan, with like the New York themed types of shirts that, that would be exactly what people are looking for.
right.
I've used more of like the local artists for that side of it.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about this is because I've said multiple times that like I'm thinking about doing something similar in Ithaca, which is near me. But I just didn't know how to go about it. I think the DTG sounds really cool, as far as being able to do stuff for them right there. My biggest thing was is that I wanted to have the space just so that people could come in and buy the retail, like the New York Tea stuff that I'm doing,
Yeah.
but also to just order shirts in general. Like just another place for them to come in, put in a bulk order, and then we could print it back at Upstate and then drive it up once a week. But I wasn't necessarily thinking of doing like on demand right there. But as long like you're saying, if the DTG like quality's good, everything. I mean, I know a lot of people use DTG, but like you're happy with like printing it right there and handing it to the customer and being like, here you go.
Yeah. Now that we've kind of dialed it in, I mean, I am a screen printer at heart, and I think screen printing's the best. And 2 years ago, I would have said, no way would I ever get a digital printer. But the quality is good. They're soft prints, especially on a white shirt, because on a black shirt, they lay down a underbase just like we do in screen printing.
Mm-hmm.
The quality is really good. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's like pretty easy. Like, I mean, you don't just push a button, but you kind of do just push a button. And after all these years of, you know, pulling my hair out and crying in the ink of the screen printing press, to go from that to then the DTG, it is a lot easier.
Amy, have you tested how much you can charge? So I don't know, like what the range would be for for this custom shirt. And I guess you have quantities. You can probably, I'm sure some people order five. They come in and they end up getting five or whatever. But if it's just one shirt, can you even do one shirt? What are you able to charge? Have you tested like the high end of what you're able to charge?
Yeah, so we opened it in November, so we had the holiday sales, and then January and February are just slow in retail. So I feel like I don't know the answer yet, and I'm still kind of figuring it out. But what I did was just start at $28 per shirt, and that is an all-made t-shirt, a nice organic ring spun cotton t-shirt. Um, and that's if you walk in and you have your design and you airdrop it and we just hit the
Mhm.
buttons and it goes, then it's $28 right now.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little low, and I might raise it. But what I've been doing is just upcharging on that. So if we're gonna, if you airdrop me a photo of your cat and then you want to write Snickers on there, then we're charging a $10 design fee for any of that kind of stuff, because usually people don't just say, oh, add the word Snickers there. They want to pick through 10 or 15 fonts and it takes 10 minutes, So
Mm.
we've been charging, like, for the most basic design, $10. And then for anything more like the cat in the hat that I described earlier, anything we actually have to design, then we're charging for that.
Some
And
Were
I think
you,
some of the people in the chat are saying that's a good price. That's a good place to
oh, okay.
start. Garrett says raise that price. Garrett, what would you charge? Because you have the retail thing going.
yeah, and also, is there a price break? So, like, let's say they get three, is it $28 still? Where do you break at?
Well, that while I'm still learning, I'm just keeping it at 28, because if you're getting this custom t-shirt, I feel like 28's good. But when it gets anything above a dozen, I've been taking it a little more case by case. And I think we just had one. And also, we tell people about screen printing, like, oh, this would make a lot more sense and
Right.
cost you less to screen print this. But this one recently, she wanted 24 shirts, but they had a photograph on them, which I
Mm.
wasn't going to screen print for very cheap. So I gave her those for $21 each. So I'm still kind of figuring out those bulk prices and taking it a little bit case by case.
Some of these people were saying too that I guess you could charge based on the time. Like if you were $28, if it was like, hey, see you in 2 days. But if it was $28, I'll see you in an
Oh,
hour. Maybe you could
right.
charge more. You know what I mean? Like base it on time. Like, oh, I can get to this later. I can do the artwork later. I can play around with it later. Or hey, I need this. Like,
I,
I'll stand over your shoulder and watch you do this. It's like a higher fee.
that's probably, yeah, I saw that model at a place in Chicago. I think it was called 1 Hour Teas. They had a billboard, so I looked at their website, and that was the same model that they had.
Have you had a chance to use it for like a reorder? Let's say somebody, you print 100 shirts and they're like, hey, I want two more. And I know it's not going to look the same, but can you explain that to them and then pull that off? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, we did that, and it worked well in that case. And I think you're right, just explaining to people like we can't screen print two more of these 5 color designs, but I can get you something pretty close, and the quality is actually pretty close.
What did this is a big question for me though too, is with that space that you got, what was the lease like? Is it like really high rent? Is it for a year? Is it for 2 years? Is it month to month?
Yeah, I mean they really wanted a 3 year lease, but I we negotiated to a 1 year because I'm still feeling like it's a calculated
Right.
risk to be taking. Um, yeah.
You're happy with that?
Um, I'm definitely glad it's not more than 1 year. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know exactly what to think of this. I'm still hopeful that it's gonna work. And if it doesn't, we can put the DTG in our shop.
Jeff Pad says, "What's your drying setup for DTG? Is it heat press?"
Yeah, we're using
We
heat
did talk
press.
about
Maybe I could ask if there's people out there that are doing something similar, because another problem or issue that we're looking at is um just copyright. And
it. That's
uh
true.
yeah, and so I'm not even worried about the big, like, you know, the the big Disney questions. I'm more like, you know, stealing somebody's photograph off the internet, or more like independent artists kind of things, like that stuff that I might not even recognize is copyright. And so I originally wanted to have a waiver, but I Square isn't letting me put that integrated into Square, and I don't want the customer to have two different things to sign, because there's already a bunch at checkout, like the loyalty program and the do you want to be on our mailing list and all that. And so I recently bought photographs online from a website, and on that one, what it said was, by checking out here, you agree that you own the rights to print these photographs. And so I would love to have something like that in our point of sale, so that, because people are bringing us random stuff all the time, and you don't want to rip off any artists.
Yeah. Do you feel like this is bringing more customers to just the bulk print side? Like, hey, I have
Yeah.
the shop, come over here. Like, you feel like that alone is worth the investment?
Um, Too soon to say, but I mean, I've spent time in the DTG in our retail spot, and so, I mean, I obviously know our screen printing model really well, and when people come in, I'm able to talk about both sides and direct people over there. Plus, all phone calls and website inquiries come to me, so I can say, yes, we can do that over here at our retail location, or yes, we'll do that here in our um, regular printing. So I do think it's a sales and marketing tool. Just it's a busier up and coming part of town, and people that might not have known about us can see us. Um, but the thing is, the two women that I hired to work inside the DTG shop have never worked at Threadbare Screen Print Shop. And so that's kind of on me to make sure they know a little bit more about everything we can do, not just the
Hmm.
print on demand.
Yeah, that was always my biggest fear, was hiring someone for that position. A, because it's like 30 minutes from my current shop. So I would have to have somebody just dedicated to drive there every day and again, no, when a customer comes in and it's like, hey, I want to place an order, they would have to know everything. Like I feel like I
Yeah.
would have to pluck somebody from the shop now to run it until they train somebody up and then bring them back. It seems like a whole thing. Do you have different hours? Like, is it like retail hours where it's like,
Yeah.
till 9 o'clock or something, or is it, how does that
Yeah,
work?
it's open till 7 and it's open 7 days a week. So we're not open on weekends, but they are. And I am not trying like I'm just having the people running the DTG direct screen print inquiries or embroidery over to me, not expecting them to do a sales for the screen printing side, but we have a menu that's there that's like we offer screen printing, embroidery, live printing, DTG.
Hmm.
And so there's a sense of there's a sense that we're more than just that print on demand spot. And then any other questions, like you just have to send an email or make a phone call.
Right. Uh, have you thought about doing like fun pop-ups or events at that space just to kind of bring awareness by, like with live printing or something?
Yeah, I think, yeah, we are thinking about that. We've done a few little things and the it's kind of a mall that we're in. It's sort of an outdoor mall, covered and heated and a little bit upscale. And they are really open to ideas. Like they would probably throw some money at something if I was like, let's get the local dance troupe down here for National Dance Month or something, and just to get more people walking through that area so that we don't just rely on than just the normal traffic.
Yeah. Andy, do you have anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, have you guys seen Prometheus, the movie?
I haven't.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, because we were flipping through and it was on last night at the kind of towards the beginning. We ended up watching it, and
It's a
Joanne,
great movie.
it is, and Joanne had nightmares, and so
Oh
she,
no.
I know, but it was different than that exactly, but it gave her nightmares. She gets, like sci-fi. We don't watch horror movies, but we'll watch sci-fi, and it was kind of, it's intense. It's a little intense at times,
Hmm.
So, yeah.
I just want to drink that tea that he drinks in the beginning, and it makes his body disintegrate into the water.
Mm. Yeah, I don't
Dylan,
get
what
like
did
the. Oh,
go
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 ahead.
ahead.
ahead, he.
No, no,
Oh,
go ahead, Amy.
I just wondered what you thought of Dune because my son came over today and couldn't stop talking about it.
It's fucking awesome. It's
That's
like
what he said.
one of the best. It's up there with like one of the best movies. I feel like just it had everything, and it was so creative. Like it's just stuff you've never seen before.
Yeah, he said it was mind
Yeah,
blowing.
it was really good. Plus, I watched it in IMAX too, so it was like really loud and really intense.
Do
But in all
you?
honesty, like the first one, I didn't. I mean, it was cool. Like I liked it, but I wasn't like holy shit. And then I watched this one, and it was like, yeah, they definitely like upped it for
Do you
sure.
think it was? It's important to see at a theater, or is it gonna? Will it work at
Oh,
home?
for sure. I mean, you can watch it at home, but you definitely need like the full
It
experience.
sounds like he called it the Star Wars of our time. So it's big shoes to fill.
Hmm. So back to Prometheus. Did you guys finish it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
thought you said you guys started it and then just stopped because she was having nightmares.
Oh no,
While
no,
she was
she
watching
actually
it.
had real like we went to bed and she had nightmares like at night, like after the movie.
What would give me nightmares of that is when, sh well, she goes in that pod and has the
Yeah,
like it pulls the
she
baby out basically.
does like a robot surgery or
Yeah,
whatever. She just tells
yeah,
what surgery she wants. Yeah.
yeah. And then she lures the dude back there at the end, and then
Mm,
he has to like fight off. That would give me nightmares, like
yeah.
just being eaten alive by a alien octopus thing.
Yeah. So this is not Dune. Don't whoever's saying this, not a spoiler. This doesn't happen in Dune. They're gonna go to Dune
Yeah.
2 and then be like, what
Where's
was that?
this
What's
alien
that?
at? And the giant worms. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
saw
glad.
that in the
I'm glad
previews.
when I asked you if you had anything to contribute, you went to Prometheus.
Oh yeah, so she just said we started watching this thing called the Octopus Murders, just coincidentally, and there was this part where they like I guess the guy that was working at the hotel, like the janitor or something, they went and got him and said, hey, you need to go to room like 517. Like it's a mess. And so he goes in there and he looks in and it's like a bloody mess. And he's like, oh my God. And he still proceeds into the room and he looks, the bathroom's like right there to his left. And the door is open and he kind of peeks in, but he's scared to like go all the way in the bathroom. So the door's open and you can see like the space between the door and the wall, like as you open it, you know what I mean? There's that little slit and he kind of peeks through there. That made it to her dream. Like that was in her dream. She was like, somebody was chasing her or whatever, and she looked through the slit of this door, I guess. But
And it was you.
JoJo just needs to stick to the rom-coms for a bit.
I know. I know, you're right. Or American Idol or something like that. Yeah, easier.
Anything else? Any other good shows or anything? Amy, what are you into right now?
Oh my, just rewatching Yellowstone. I love it so much.
Why?
I don't know. I like it because it's so stressful. Everything is just like
You
running a
like it
print
because it's
shop.
stressful?
I just like your anxiety. Something bad's going to happen at all times. It's just like being a business owner.
Yeah, Marcotte just chimed in with True Detective. I like the new
Oh yeah,
one,
that's
but
good.
I was also disappointed because I feel like I can't say anything without giving it away. Like I like the visuals, but they let me down in the end.
Is it as good as the season 1 of True Detective?
Nothing will ever compare to season 1 of True
It was
Detective.
so
That's
good.
like one of my favorite chunks of television I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
Season
it's pretty
1,
good.
True Detective?
Season 1 True Detective.
Okay.
Yeah. With Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Marcotte wants me to give the chicken and waffles a shout out that we had in Long Beach because it was my first time and it was delicious.
Your first time ever having chicken and waffles?
Yeah.
I've never had chicken and waffles.
Like that kind of authentic, real kind, yeah.
Well, isn't there a famous place out there for that? What's it called?
It might have been where we went and now I can't think of
Is
the
it
name.
Yeah.
Nick's?
Someone's gonna chime in.
Yeah.
I know it. I can't remember what it's called. I know it though. Like I've heard of
I
it.
think,
I've never had it.
oh, Roscoe's.
Roscoe's. There you go.
Somebody just said
Yep.
it, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so good.
Well, anyway, what's next for you? I know we talked a little bit about other stuff, but what's your plan for you? Just waiting for the upswing of the year and people to get busy again, or do you have other plans for this year?
Yeah, it's just been it's been a rough couple of months on the Threadbare screen printing side. We just saw a bigger downturn than I expected, and I didn't anticipate that well. So this next year is really focused on understanding the books really well and profit and margins and getting just a little more focused on just production. And I reached out to our friend Jessica Tillery, All Quality Graphics, and I've been talking to her a little bit about just like, what percentage should your COGS be and labor and just all that kind of stuff that I feel like I haven't, as a business owner, I've gotten away for too long of not actually really dialing that stuff in very clearly. And so this is going to be a year of like business growth, not even top line revenue growth, but I mean just like understanding business a little bit better. So I'm excited for that. I have a few mentors that I'm working with. I also have an intern from the business school that is helping me at no cost to really dig in, and she's worked in an accounting firm, so that's really helpful. And I think, like so many of us that get into this, we're creatives, and it's about making art in the beginning, and
Not the business.
Yeah, and so I love screen printing and I love this industry. I just have to be a little bit better business manager, and so I'm working on that.
You can say bitter. You said bitter. You can be a little bit more bitter.
I'm a little bitter right now, but I'm bouncing back.
Well, thanks for doing this with us, Amy. We appreciate it. One last thing, Jeff Pads asked, do you have an outside sales team?
I do not, and I should add that. I do all of the account management right now, And I've just been scared to get an outside salesperson, but it's important and I need to do it.
I'm trying to weed
Grizzly,
through all of these things, and Josh is like a comment every other
Grizzly
comment.
Wheeler,
Like, I don't understand
you're
where these are coming from in your
keep
brain.
it appropriate, Mr. Grizzly.
Hmm. But anyway, thanks for doing this with us,
Hey,
and we appreciate it. And I think this was fun, and we'll do another one soon.
thanks so much for having me, and I love seeing you guys and getting to talk shop and seeing your lovely faces.
Oh,
So,
thanks.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we'll see you later. Thanks for everybody who came.
Yeah, thanks for everybody for coming.
Later.
Good night.
Bye.
No nightmares, just sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams.